Ladies and gents, boys and girls, welcome. This is the Monday Power Hour. Taking your questions, your comments, your calls. 803-500-1485. That's 803-500-1485. Here on this Monday as we react to everything that took place in Week 12. What is going on? Again, apologies for the technical difficulties we faced started the show. It's been a while since we had technical difficulties of that magnitude. For some reason, our microphone was not connecting. Either way, though, we are here on this Monday. Again, appreciate each and every single one of you tuning in. November the 18th, 2024. What a weekend of SEC football it was. We had dramatics in Columbia, South Carolina. We had Georgia keeping their college football playoff hopes alive, which I'll get to that in a second. Athens was absolutely incredible. What else? Man, we had a great weekend. Florida pulling a big upset against LSU. Lots to get into. And again, guys, I want to hear from you all. Again, your questions, your comments, your calls as well. 803-500-1485. That's 803-500-1485. I see the comments rolling in. Guys, whether you are on X, Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, wherever you might be, leave us your questions. We would love to hear from you. And guys, we appreciate your love and support as the college football season winds down. It's crazy to say that, man. Thinking about the season coming to an end, it's hard to believe that we are getting to that point, but we are. I mean, week 13 now, the second to last week of the regular season. Of course, we'll have SEC championship, playoffs, all that good stuff, but second to last week of the regular season, man, the SEC Unfiltered Tour is winding down as well. Crazy. What a season it's been. It's been absolutely incredible. Again, appreciate you all tuning in. We will be live until 1 o'clock Eastern, 12 Central today, taking all of your questions, your commenting, and everything in between. My friend Longhorn Football Edits is in the chat. What's going on? Really excited. We got our trip upcoming this weekend to Austin, Texas. Heading out to Hook'em to watch Texas and Kentucky do battle, man. Really, really pumped to get out there to the Lone Star State. Let's see. Apparently, Arkansas played a rivalry game on Saturday. Who knew? Yeah, indeed. Yeah, they did. Yeah, beat down Arkansas. I mean, that was closer than I expected. We can get into that Longhorn Football Edits if you want. Definitely was a little bit closer than I expected. But Texas gets it done, man. Listen, there's no such thing as a bad road win in the SEC. So, Matt Beard, what's going on, man? Dude, LSU. Wow. I'm about as disappointed in LSU as I am with anybody in the conference, man. I mean, you talk about going ice cold the last 3 games. The worst possible time you could go ice cold, and they have. Marty Taylor, what do you think about South Carolina? Great story, great year, magical year for the Gamecocks. There's nobody hotter in college football. I mean, really, truly. Lenoris Sellers is a magician at the quarterback spot, the way he's able to evade pressure and sacks. And, again, I'm sure we're going to get some calls, and we'll talk about it more. I mean, defensively, you know what you have there. But, I mean, I think what's got to be really encouraging is the defense didn't play great Saturday. I thought Mizzou did a good job of, holding guys like Dylan Stewart and Kennard in check for the most part. And your offense picked you up. And that is the sign of a really, really good team. The teams that win the most, they find the most ways to win, right? They can find different ways to win. So really encouraging when your offense can pick you up when the defense maybe has an off day, if you will. So, Matt Beard, baseball season. Yeah. LSU fans already looking forward to baseball season. So, let's see. Kind of want to hear about the Vancouver soccer team. Terminator 98 says. Emily says, loved your video detailing your visit to Oxford. Hotty toddy. Emily, thank you for tuning in. The vlogs have been great. My trip to Oxford was incredible. I mean, again, I spoke on it last week. Can't wait to get back to the Ox Patch. That was incredible. I had a great time. Game was electric, obviously, but the people were awesome. Loved the city, loved the town. I appreciate you checking out the vlog. The vlogs have been really, really cool. A lot of fun. Some of the most fun I've had with content ever in my entire career of creating content, if you will. Yeah, it's some of the most fun I've ever had. So I really appreciate you checking it out. Those are so much fun to put together because essentially what I get to do, and I put them together every Wednesday, I get to go back and essentially relive the weekend. And it's a really cool thing because we've had some really fun weekends, and Oxford definitely fell into that category. So definitely fell into that category. Let's see. We got comments rolling in today. Y'all continue to flood it. We'll open up the phone lines here in just a second. DGD, what's going on? Appreciate you tuning in. I want to start there, man. I want to say thank you to the fine folks at Athens, Georgia. Man, had a great time in Athens. Athens, I will continue to say, the best college town in America. I don't care what your biases are, who you're a fan of. Athens, objectively, this is not best atmosphere. This is not, loudest stadium. It's none of that. It is the best college town in the country, though. Athens is a special place. It is a magical place. Had a great time. The people were awesome. Yeah, it was electric, man. So it was electric. Let's see. And we're going to do, by the way, after the season, we are going to do SEC superlatives. So we're going to do SEC Unfiltered Tour superlatives. Things like best stadium, loudest stadium, best fan base, et cetera, et cetera. So, yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be a lot of fun. So that being said, guys, let's go ahead and open the phone lines. We got a lot to get into. I'm sure many of you want to call in. 803-500-1485. That's 803-500-1485. Jay Day, we can't help the SEC only has 3 good teams. We came in and exposed the SEC. Listen, Jay, here's the thing. That's never been more not true than this year. There's a lot of good teams in the conference. There's a lot of good teams, and I don't know that there's a one dominant team. I don't know that there's truly one dominant team. I do like Texas a lot. There's a reason I've got them number 1 in the power rankings. I'm high on Texas. I like Texas a lot. Like I said, we'll see them this weekend. But there are a lot of good teams in the conference. I mean, South Carolina is a great example. You put them in the Big 12, I think they win the conference this year. Heck, you could say the same thing with Tennessee. You could say the same thing. There's just the depth of the league this year is for real. But getting a look at a Georgia Saturday night, I mean, it's Georgia's still here to stay. Don't let Georgia get hot. Don't let Georgia get hot, man. Seeing them on Saturday night was a lot of fun. That was vintage Georgia. It was what I expected. So, anyways, guys, Athens was great. Phone lines are open, 803-500-1485. That's 803-500-1485. And, it's funny enough. I'll tell you this. It's funny enough. Even when South Carolina is doing well, even when South Carolina is getting credit, and even when I'm giving them credit, you've still got people like an Austin Clinton and others in the comments that just can't get the chip off their shoulder. They can't remove the nastiness and the ugliness. So I'm going to tell you this, guys. I'm going to tell you this. And, this is my right. I have the ability to do this because it's my entity. I got no patience for it anymore, man. Like, I used to have to put up with the worst of the worst of some people on the internet and the South Carolina fan base. Like, I don't have to do that anymore. So I've never blocked people quicker than I do now, So people can say whatever they want. You want to be critical of our takes, man, tell me I don't know shit. That's totally fine. But, like, I'm just – if you're a South Carolina person, especially, and you're throwing personal shade at me or personal attacks, I'm blocking you. It's on site. I'm not replying to you. I'm not engaging with you. I'm blocking you on site. So I appreciate y'all making it easy, those that do. I appreciate you making it easy. So I just don't have patience for it, man. I really don't. I don't have patience for it. It's just, I'm kind of done with it. So anyways, 803-500-1485. Would love to hear from you. Again, lots to discuss, man. The SEC is as deep as it's ever been. Volcano, what's up, man? Chris, do you think Tennessee's spread offense will ever win a national championship? I think Tennessee's a program that absolutely can win a national championship. Part of the reason I believe that is proof of concept. I mean, it's been done there before. Tennessee has done it. It's been a while, but they've done it. So, I think especially in a 12 team and what's going to expand to 14 and probably going to expand beyond that, I think Tennessee can win a national title. Yeah, I think they can. I think Josh Heupel can win a national championship at Tennessee. I mean, listen, they're not that far off right now. I mean, I know the loss Saturday night was tough. You put that game in Neyland, though, I think home field advantage played a large part in that game. I think Tennessee could have won that game in Knoxville. They were never walking into Sanford Stadium at night with Georgia's backs against the wall and winning that football game. They just weren't doing it. So, but yes, I think Josh Heupel and company, I think there's nothing wrong with the offense from a scheme standpoint. They need to add some big-time playmakers on the outside. They need to add more pieces to help out Nico. They've got the quarterback. I really believe Nico Iamaleava can be that guy that brings a title to Tennessee. I really believe that. You got to add some pieces. He needs help, man. He needs help. He absolutely needs help. So, Matt Beard, need to have a dialogue about that green corduroy shirt. Bro, it's chilly and this is comfy, man. This is like cozy. Yeah, I mean, listen, man, it's that time of year. I feel like there's a little bit more versatility with my style when the weather cools off. When it's warm, pretty much typically T-shirt, got a few like little button up options, little things we'll throw together. When it cools off, though, that's when I feel like the variety in my style comes out more. So, yeah, I mean, it's comfy. It's a chilly day. So, it's a chilly day, man. Yeah, it's comfy. So, let's see. Rodney says, as a South Carolina fan, see a lot of good and excited fans, and they're good for you, nor the bad apples. I mean, Rodney, that's the best thing we can do. I mean, again, I put it to you this way, Rodney. I'll simplify it as this. If you love the content, great, awesome, appreciate you. If you don't like the content and you want to voice that or you disagree with it, cool, great. The beauty's in the banter. What I don't have the patience for is just like the personal attacks and the dumbass shit talking. Like, bro, again, I would say good on us for just keep it moving, bro. Just keep it moving. That's it. That's it. And it's not that many, but it's like I have no patience for it anymore. Like, if you want to come on our platform, like, you can talk shit about me and talk shit about Dave and talk shit about Cole and talk shit about SEC Unfiltered. But I'm not going to give you the freedom to do it under our posts and on our page. Because the other 15 fan bases that we are now serving don't give a shit about the grudge you have. They don't. They don't care. And I don't care personally. So I'm just not going to give you the avenue to do it under our content. And that's my right, and that's my prerogative, and it helps keep our timeline clean and our comments clean and keeps the experience enjoyable for everyone else that's consuming our content. That really, I just imagine people look at some of these comments and they're just like, dude, like, what is wrong with these people? I'm like, well, that was my life for 6 years. So it's, yeah, I mean, that's my right. And again, that's how we want to operate. So that's how we want to operate. So. Chris Martin, you seem happier doing the Unfiltered thing. I missed the Carolina pod, but I do watch your new show. Dude, I'm happy for South Carolina. I will say I was thinking about that. I wanted to make that point today. I am really, really genuinely happy for South Carolina fans right now. I'm really happy for them. Genuinely happy for South Carolina people. It's one of the most loyal fan base. I would probably say it is the most loyal fan base in the sport. When you think about fan support versus production over the years, it's the most loyal fan base in the sport. So, there's a lot of great people that I know that rock the garnet and black, that rock with me as well, and people that I'm really, really, really close friends with. I'm really happy they're happy this season. I'm really happy for them. I'm really, really happy for them. So, let's see. Again, I'm going to leave it be because, again, I see people getting all crazy in the comments. The bottom line is this, and I'm going to leave it. We're going to get off it from here. Well, I'll just say this. You got to do what's best for you, and you can't explain things to people who aren't open to the idea of understanding in the first place. That's 100% what I believe, and Again, I got out of that habit a long time ago, trying to explain things to people who aren't open to the idea of understanding. Anyways, 803-500-1485. Let's actually get to some ball here. 803-500-1485. Really, really excited to get to Austin, Texas this weekend. Athens, Georgia was absolutely incredible. There was nowhere else I would rather be, man. Had a really, really good time. Again, the Georgia folks were so accommodating, so welcoming. You know, it was interesting, too, because going into Athens this previous weekend, you know, there are some fan bases that engage more than others with our content. So Georgia fans had engaged, maybe not to the level that some others had. And I mean, again, that's not a positive, a negative, anything else. You just never know, right? You never know what the reception. I continue to be amazed on a week in, week out basis, the way people have welcomed us and welcomed me with open arms. It is humbling. It is flattering. I'm extremely, extremely grateful for it. Like I can't say thank you enough. To be embraced the way we are on a week in, week out basis, to be embraced, I'll never stop saying thank you for that. I'll never stop showing gratitude. I'll never stop, I just truly have to pinch myself on a week in, week out basis. Truly. I have to pinch myself because it's just like I actually explained it to my good buddy John, which shout out John in the Morris Hall tailgate in Athens, Georgia. I explained it to him probably, I don't know that to the point I had been looking to that point for the words to explain everything. I had been looking for the words to explain how I wanted to put this into words. The tour has been such as this. The tour has been, I'm super present moment when I'm at these places and in these cities and at these games. I am present moment as one can get while simultaneously it feeling like an out-of-body experience. Like I've been walking around these campuses and around these game days and at these games and certainly like when we're rushing the field and week after week after week, the love and support we're feeling and the games we're getting to see and the experiences we're having, it's like I'm super present moment, but it's like it's an out-of-body experience from the standpoint I'm like, I really do have to pinch myself and feel like I'm dreaming. It feels like a dream. Like it really does. I'm like, am I sure this is actually happening? So it wouldn't be possible without you guys, man. And again, Athens, Georgia, we felt that same love, man. We felt that same level of love and reception and dog fans were so excited to see us there. Had people coming at me during the game, like, bro, love your content, love everything you're doing. It was, again, Athens, I can't say thank you enough, man. It's a lot of love to the dog fans, a lot of love to the folks in Athens, and great time. I mean, Athens is a blast. That was a trip I was looking forward to all year long for that reason. I mean, I know how much fun Athens is. That wasn't my first time there. It had been a while, but yeah, it was my first time I'd been there in quite some time. So, yeah, had a lot of fun, man. The scene was electric. All the people that said Sanford doesn't get loud, I mean, no, it gets raucous. When Georgia wants to get loud, it's one of the best venues in the sport. Like, it's one of the loudest environments in the SEC and all of college football. So, yeah, it was incredible, man. It was incredible. So, anyways, 803-500-1485. That is 803-500-1485. Volcano, do you think Ole Miss transfer portal ways are sustainable? I think it's a balance. I don't think you can fully go one way or the other. I think you have to, the way that I see it, high school recruiting is still immensely important, and you supplement your roster with transfer portal guys. Like, I think you fill the holes on your roster with the portal. You fill the holes on your roster with the portal, but I don't think you can't just purely build with portal. I think like a Florida State is a really good example of that. All right, let's jump to the phone lines here.
Call from Peyton.
Peyton, what's going on, man? You're on the air.
What's going on, Chris? How you doing today, man?
I'm doing great, man. I appreciate you asking. What's up?
Just calling in. This first time in a long time. Last time I called in, you were under a different name. but just calling in to get your input on the Gamecocks, man. How do you think we're going to be looking for next season? I know we're probably on the outside looking in as far as the playoff talks go this year, but I know we're also going to be losing a lot of key pieces on defense. We got a lot of old heads, and they're going to be graduating. So what do you think the outlook is for next season, man?
You know, and first off, it's good to hear from you, Peyton. I would say it's kind of tough to say, man, just because the way these rosters change so Okay, do I still got you, Peyton?
Yeah, man.
All right, awesome. So anyways, the South Carolina roster, I just think a lot can change from year to year. So what are they going to look like next year? It's tough to say. I think Shane Beamer's built a good foundation there. And, I mean, I said it from the day he was hired that I think they can realistically be a program that averages 8 wins per year over the course of a decade. I think that's doable. Some years you're going to win more. Some years you might win a game or two less. But I think that, I mean, listen, again, I think they've laid a great – when you got a quarterback like Lenore Sellers, you've laid a really good foundation. So, you know, Lenore Sellers is, you know, establishing himself as the truth, you know, establishing himself as a big-time playmaker. I mean, some of the plays he's made over the last few weeks are just crazy. It's hard to fathom, some of them, the way he's escaping sacks and the escapability there. You know, so now listen, I mean, I think you got a great foundation if you're South Carolina. I really do. And, I mean, again, I think the defense, you know, you got to replace a lot on the defensive side. So that'll be the big question. Right. Can the defense follow it up? But, I mean, I would expect South Carolina to be right back there, man. I mean, I think Beamer's, like I said, laid a good foundation. And, you know, you use a year like this, you should be able to finish off strong in recruiting, go out in the portal and probably land some playmakers. And I think they'll be right back in the thick of it next year. So, but, again, it's just really for anybody, for any team, it's really, really tough to project. Because with the portal NIL, I mean, there's so many moving pieces. It's really hard to project what the roster is going to look like.
Right. And, you know, with this recruiting class, as far as, you know, national rankings go, we might wind up in the top 10 in the SEC, but, you know, nationally, we're kind of in the lower rankings compared to what last year's class was and the year before that. And like you said, it's just really hard to project, you know, what's going to happen with all the NIL stuff and all the money being moved around and everybody moving. But I would say this, and it's probably glaringly obvious, that if there are two players that we must retain at all costs, it is Dylan Stewart and it is Lenore Sanders. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, I mean, I would say Sellers and Stewart are the two guys you've got to hold on to. Yeah, for sure. Those are your cornerstone guys, no doubt. No doubt. So those are the two that, I mean, there's others, I'm sure, but those, no doubt, those two are the ones you've got to get, you know. I mean, listen, if you're losing guys like that, there's other issues going on, I think. I mean, I know money talks,
right?
But, you know, I mean, I think Lenore Sellers, from the people I talk to, is as locked in and committed as any, and Dylan Stewart could have, you know, I mean, to be fair, he could have went anywhere out of high school and taken whatever NIL bag. So, you don't put anything past anybody, because in the portal with again, NIL and the way money talks, you just never know. But, yeah, those are the two I would agree with you got to hold on to.
Yeah, and, you know, to say one thing about Dylan Stewart, man, I really, really appreciated, you know, his commitment early on to South Carolina and his attitude after he made that commitment. Because the national narrative was, you know, maybe he might flip, maybe Ohio State could flip him, or Georgia, or whoever could flip him, but he came right out and said, I'm committed, I'm done talking about it. That these are my guys, this is who I've committed to, and I'm in it for the long haul. And I really hope he keeps that attitude about it, and because this fan base loves him and we want him for as long as we can have him.
No doubt, man. It's been a special season in Columbia, man. Like I said, I'm happy for the Gamecocks. I'm happy for South Carolina faithful like yourself. It's been waiting a long time, it feels like, for I mean, I know 22 was special too, but I feel like this year has been much longer sustained than just like 22 was kind of a 2-week spurt. This has been more, this has been a special year. So 9-3 is right there on the table, and kind of like a lot of other South Carolina years. That's that Carolina Clemson game is gonna. I mean, as well as I do, man. It's 8-4 with a loss to Clemson versus 9-3 with a win over Clemson. That's a way different season. We'll put it that way. So It's one of those rivalries where for both sides, man, if you're not going to win a national championship or a conference title, the rivalry game kind of defines your year. So I think for South Carolina, it's a big one. It's obviously a big one. It goes without saying. So it'll be fun. Should be a good game.
Absolutely, man. I'm looking forward to a good one up there in Clemson town. But anyways, Chris, always good to talk to you, man. I'll be looking forward to the next time we get to chit chat, man. Go Cox, baby.
Peyton, you're the man. I appreciate it, brother. Much love. Much love. Appreciate it. Again, guys, phone lines open, 803-500-1485. I do apologize for the technical issues earlier. It's just, you know what it is? I figured out it is this camera. This camera, because every time I don't use the camera, it never glitches. So I'm about to retire this camera and get a new camera. So I'm about to retire this camera and get a new camera. But like I said, man, it's I got to be honest, that's one of the things that makes some of the energy from some folks in the South Carolina fan base specifically so wacky because, listen, man, I've since I've ever started in media, I give my honest opinion about every single team. I'm objective about every single team. I don't sugarcoat it. If I think you're good, I'll say you're good. If I think you suck, I'll say you suck. If I think you're a fraud, I'll say you're a fraud. If you're a national title contender, I'll say that too. So, every single team in the SEC feels that from me. And the only thing I promise is to be fair. And I think we've been very, very fair, especially this year. And especially as SEC Unfiltered, we've been nothing but fair about South Carolina. And there's been no negative energy from yours truly or any of us really at SEC Unfiltered at all about South Carolina. And it's what makes some of the, again, I'm genuine. I've got best friends that are Gamecock fans that were at the game on Saturday against Mizzou that I couldn't be happier for. So that's, it's just, really, really happy for him. Again, happy for Peyton too, man. It's a lot of good people in that fan base that deserve to see a winner. So, but anyways, 803. And then I don't want to burn time talking about this, but this is kind of what I'm talking about. Because if you're on YouTube, you're seeing the comments, even when you're giving credit, I just don't dude, just let it go. Just let it go. Give it a rest. I mean, good God, man. Just good God. Just give it a rest. You want to talk ball? Let's talk ball. But the rest of the shit, man, I'm not here to entertain, man. I'm not here to entertain. So, there's people that are 11 months later that are still really, really upset. And it's like, man, bro, we are so moved on. We are so moved on 11 months later. We were moved on 11 months ago. But it's just, it just gets old, man. It just gets really old. So I just want to make great content, talk ball, shoot the shit, have a good time. The rest of it, man, is meaningless. So anyways, let's see. We got Big Ten country in the chat. Big Ten, one team in, just put the whole SEC in. I mean, listen, I think Ohio State, Oregon. I'd even say, here's the thing. I think a lot of people will tell you if Indiana loses a game, they should be out. I think if they lose close to Ohio State, I could justify putting Indiana. Penn State is the one where I think we should have some convo. Who have they beaten? There's going to be a lot of resume comparing. In the next few weeks. Strength of schedule, who have you beaten, who have you not? So, let's see. Oh, Joe K. Any thoughts on A&M only favored 2.5 at Auburn this weekend, in which Hugh Freeze team shows up? FY, the weather's going to be awesome in Austin. Great. I'm glad to hear it, Joe. I think I was looking like high 70s. Like it might be shorts week. It might be shorts weather. It might be shorts weather. Which is, it really shows like the SEC. I haven't had a single, and watch, I'm going to say this and it's going to be like ice cold in College Station. But I mean, dude, it's past the middle of November and I still haven't had a game where I'm like, dude, that was a really cold game. It hadn't really gotten cold yet, which is really nice, actually. I got to be honest. So, yeah, Austin looks like it's going to be beautiful, man. I can't wait. I mean, I've been looking forward to this trip for quite a while. You know, the initial thoughts over the summer was to get to Texas for maybe the Georgia game, but with F1 weekend in town, just decided against it, decided that was going to be, you know, with the travel and stuff like that too much. So I wanted to make sure, man, Austin was always a priority to get to. Austin was always a priority for me. So I'm glad we're making it happen, man. It's going to be a lot of fun. Getting in town Thursday afternoon, by the way. Getting in town Thursday. So I'm coming in a day early because I wanted to get the full Austin experience. I'm coming in Thursday because I wanted to get the full Austin experience. Really excited. And I'll tell you this. The way that Texas people, and we haven't even been there yet, the hospitality that I've felt from Texas people already, and the trip hasn't even happened, has been unreal. You know, when I talk about that embrace and the way people have, you know, wrapped their arms around us, and I mean, again, really, it's been so cool with the tour, man. Like, as each week has passed, like, fan bases and people are really excited for us to come to their games. Really excited for us to come to their cities and experience everything and get a taste of the culture. And like, dude, I had a Texas guy email me late Sunday night, you know, asking if I needed suggestions. And dude, I mean, wrote up paragraphs on paragraphs of the bar scene, tailgating, food, like everything you could think of for a weekend in Austin. I'm like, this guy doesn't know me from, he's seen our content. And I mean, but he didn't have to do that. So, you know, that's just one example, man. There's been so many great Texas folks that, again, it has been really, really cool to feel that embrace and to feel that warmth. And dude, I can't wait, man. I can't wait to get to the land of Hook'em. I can't wait to get to the 40 acres. It's going to be an electric weekend. I'm super excited to experience Austin, Texas. I'm super excited to experience Hook'em, the Lone Star State. Really, really pumped. Really, really pumped. So, again, guys, 803-500-1485. That's 803-500-1485. Yes, we are doing John Edward Kruger asks. We're doing it. Yes, we're going to do a preview video for South Carolina Wofford. We preview every single game. I mean, just another example, man. Another example. I posted the spreads for the week. I do that every week. And of course, there were South Carolina people in those comments chirping, "Where's the spread for the South Carolina game? You're forgetting about." I'm like, there isn't a spread because they play an FCS team. Like, you can't get mad over everything. Like, you can't get mad over everything. It's crazy, dude. Anyways, all right, let's jump to the lines.
Call from Vinny.
What's going on, man? You're on the air.
Hey, what's going on, brother? How you doing today?
I'm doing well. Appreciate it. How are you?
Doing well, man. So I'm a Carolina fan. Apparently, you have a lot of Carolina fans that support you. But I heard the call prior to. One question that always is guided at me so far this season is why does the public or the committee devalue like the Texas A&M win that we had over them? Like, I thought that was a very important win that kind of signifies, you know, a step forward in the program, and somehow, some way, it almost gets belittled or minimized when they talk about Texas A&M. I mean, when you look at their schedule, who did they really beat? Missouri, at the time, they were ranked number 9, right? Good win, but outside of that, what else? Who else did they win against? You know what I mean? So when we talk about potential of playoffs, I'm not acknowledging the playoff is actually a possibility, but You know, it is still in the air if you want to talk about strength of schedule, strength of wins. You won 4 straight weeks. You know, 5 straight weeks you scored 25 points or more. So, I mean, this is a mark of a good team that would, you know, like you said, cause some disruption in the playoffs. So I'm curious to get your reason on why they kind of sleep on that A&M.
Yeah, I mean, in regards to like the rankings, I mean, listen, I think the rankings are a very imperfect system. You know, A&M, I think South Carolina wasn't in the top 25 when they beat them. A&M was top, 10, 15, something like that. I mean, in the way they drop and rise, and like, it's a very imperfect science. I don't know when people talk about A&M, are they, or South Carolina, are they, I mean, I can only speak for myself. I don't know how everybody talks about them. Like, you know, some of the other national guys, whatever. I mean, I think you have to keep that result very well fresh. It only happened a few weeks ago. I mean, listen, I got nothing but love and respect for my guy, Michael Bratton, SEC Mike, that SEC Mike. I got nothing but love and respect. But how you can put A&M ahead of South Carolina in your power rankings is nuts to me. I mean, we just saw the game play out. It just played out like 3 weeks ago. And I know that, Bama people will come at me. Probably they'll push back and be like, well, if that's the case, how can you put South Carolina ahead of Alabama? Fair, I understand. We're talking about a game that happened like 2 weeks ago versus almost 2 months ago or a month and a half ago. Like, teams can get better or worse throughout the season. And so I think right now, the way South Carolina's playing, I think they're one of the, if not the hottest team in college football right now on a neutral field. If you gave me South Carolina, Alabama again, I'd go South Carolina on a neutral field. I mean, South Carolina, and so I don't know. To your point, if somebody's discrediting that win, I have no idea. I genuinely have no idea. I'll tell you this, though. I will say this in defense of Texas A&M. Like, just because you go into Williams-Brice Stadium at night and you lose, it doesn't make you a bad team. Like, it's hard to go on the road and win in the SEC. Like, they're going to – the perfect example of this is what A&M did in a 2-week span when LSU had to go to Kyle Field and the way that environment played into the game versus the following week going into Williams-Brice Stadium at night and the way that environment played into the game. So, I mean, listen, I like it or not, I think biases are real. I think that, because Texas A&M was thought of a certain way. Yeah, I mean, but I'll tell you this for the playoff picture. If Texas A&M finishes 10-2, they would have beaten Texas. They're getting in the playoff. I mean, and they're also going to be in the SEC championship game. So, and I mean, we'll continue to say this over and over and over again. Cole has said it. Dave has said it. I will say it. Man, like fair or unfair, 3-loss team's not getting in. I don't care what conference it is. Like, it's unfortunate, but it's the reality, man. There's going to be too many. There's going to be too many 10-2 teams to pick from. Like, it's just not going to happen.
Expand that bracket. Until they expand the bracket, I don't see any 9-3 team making it in. Honestly, it is unfortunate. And then when you look at the entire schedule, between the LSU game and the Alabama game, a 5-point deficit between both of those games. I mean, it's tough, man. It's tough. It's a win or lose league. The margins of error are very small. But I appreciate it, man. Thank you for always speaking good on the fan base and speaking good on the Gamecocks, man. I love when people are impartial. That's the only reason why I watch you, man.
Hey, I appreciate it, man. Thank you for the love. Appreciate that.
No problem.
Yeah, thanks. Good one. Great stuff, man. Great call. Really good stuff. Appreciate it, man. Truly appreciate the love. It's means a lot. Means a lot. So, no, listen, a 3-loss team's not getting him. It's just they're not. I mean, I know that'll piss people off. I don't care. I don't care. A 3-loss. Dude, we'd be having this conversation about any 3-loss team. They're not getting him. They're just not. They're just not. So, which doesn't mean you had a bad season if you go 9-3. It's just there's going to be so many 10-2 teams, and South Carolina folks might complain if A&M beats Texas, they should be in the playoff. 10-2 with a win over Texas, you should be in. I think it'll be Texas that's on the outside looking in if that happens. I think the A&M game is essentially a playoff eliminator for Texas, for both really, because again, 9-3 A&M is not getting in. Nobody at 9-3 is getting in. So, and Spur Your Enthusiasm says the BCS was the best ranking system. I don't know why you think that, because if we still had the BCS, then your favorite teams definitely wouldn't have a shot. So it's like, bro, you're giving 99% of college fan bases would be giving their teams significantly less of a shot to win a title. At least with the expanded playoff, you know, you can sniff a playoff and maybe go on a run. But I mean, the BCS. Everybody that thought the 12-team college football playoff was going to ruin the regular season or ruin college football, like, you couldn't have been more wrong. You literally couldn't have missed the mark. And there's a lot of folks nationally out there that don't tempt us to pull up receipts. I'm not in the receipt-pulling business, but, like, there were a lot of people nationally that you guys depend on that taught college football that would have told you BCS was the superior system. With expanded playoff, it'll ruin the sport. Yeah, because a playoff ruins every other sport ever in every other game. Bro, it's only made it better. It's literally only made college football better. It's made it more interesting. It's more fun. Dare I say, more games matter. More games matter now. And again, the take that the expanded college football playoff was going to kill the regular season and make the games not matter was always a lazy take, and this season is proving that. Make the games not matter to who? Oh, because there's a safety net. Folks, I was at Alabama, Georgia in Tuscaloosa. That game technically had a safety net. I don't know that I've ever been to a more intense football game. Like, some of the games and some of the atmospheres I've witnessed this year, like, who does it not matter to? It was always an extremely lazy take. It was. What, it doesn't matter to the AP poll voter out in Wisconsin? The AP poll voter out in Wichita, Kansas? Like, who gives a shit? That's not who it's supposed to matter to anyways. The people that actually love the sport and the fan bases of these teams, like, the thing that makes college football so great is, like, there doesn't have to be a trophy on the line every game for it to still be the greatest sport on planet Earth, the most dramatic sport on planet Earth. Like, just the pride involved with these programs. Like, bro, they could play a game like Bama, Georgia in the backyard. It don't matter. Lock the gates and let's line up and go to battle for 60 minutes. Yeah, that whole narrative that started a few years ago when we found out we get a 4-team, then a 12-team. I mean, there's certainly a cap where you don't want to expand it to 64, but that take that the expanded college football playoff was going to ruin the regular season. This regular season has just proved that was false. That was a fallacy. It was always a lazy take. I never agreed with it. I didn't agree with it again. I certainly don't agree with it now. It was always a lazy take. College football, the business of college football especially, has never been better. Never been healthier. The game's never been more entertaining. The product's never been better than it is right now. So, yeah, RIP all the people that gave the take that was going to kill the game, because it's done the quite opposite. It's done the quite opposite. So, anyways, 803-500-1485. Let me go back really quickly, by the way. Let me go back. And where do I want to go with this? Where do I want to go with this? I'm kind of getting caught up in some comments. Yeah, no corduroy for Austin. No corduroy for Austin. Let me go back to Athens, man, again. To all the great dogs, thank you all so much. And I'm here to stand on business. I'm here to say it with my chest. Athens is the best college town in the United States of America. I know salty Tennessee fans, Alabama fans, Florida fans, et cetera, will fill the mentions. They will fill the comments. I get it. But if you can remove your bias, remove whatever shaded lens you're wearing, guys, Athens is the best college town in the country. That is not a knock on any of these other towns that we have been to. They've all been great. But Athens is different. Athens is next level. You can knock Sanford Stadium if you want to. You can You can knock whatever. Take your shots at Georgia. That's fine. But Athens is elite. Athens is an incredible place. I would tell any SEC fan, if you have not been to Athens, Georgia, and experienced a weekend there, make it a full weekend, not just a game day. Experience a full weekend. You will not be sorry, man. Athens is incredible, and I can't say thank you enough, man, all the great dogs that showed us love. From Friday night at Creature Comfort, shout out my guy, Graham Coffee, Dog Central, the Players Lounge, Home Field Apparel that hosted us. I had the opportunity, guys, to be on the panel up there with Alvin Herrera, great linebacker at Georgia, Keith Marshall, great running back at Georgia. I'm sure many of you will remember. A couple guys that cover the Dogs, great guy that covers Tennessee for the Players Lounge. Tennessee had a great opportunity to be there with those guys and talk ball and give my opinions and thoughts on the game from that moment to going out in Athens Friday night to the game on Saturday and everything in between, man. It was an incredible experience. I feel like I sound like a broken record week after week because I'm just like, man, the weekend was electric. The weekend was incredible. But they've all been awesome. They've all been awesome. Like, people, I've been getting the question. I've been getting this question lately. What was the worst experience you've had? And I'm like, dude, I can't do that. Like, there isn't one. Like, I would have to nitpick so hard. I would have to nitpick so hard that it would be silly. Like, they've all been incredible, and they're all unique in their own way. So, and I see Spur Your Enthusiasm talking about don't prefer being barked at, and this is the takeaway here. Fairness, Chris, there's media head of unbiased, not opposing fan. Tell you from experience, different world. Spur Your Enthusiasm, it's a great point. I've made that point many times this tour. I've told people this. Going to these games and these venues and experiencing this stuff as SEC Unfiltered, no bias in it, right, is a totally different experience than if I were to do an SEC Unfiltered tour and go to every game as a visiting fan, right? I mean, it kind of goes without saying. It's like, no duh. But, I mean, listen, these SEC fan bases are passionate. They are. There's going to be some hostility mixed in. I was actually thinking about this guy, just looking way too far ahead. I was asked, will you take the tour to a non-conference stop next year? Will you go to an SEC stadium? Will you go to an SEC stadium that is, or will you go to a stadium that's not SEC? Because this year I wanted to focus on SEC venues because there were just so many I've never been to. And I was like, that would actually be a good idea. For example, week one, Texas plays at Ohio State next year. What a game that would be. And then I thought to myself, that would probably be the first time I've gone to a game and would get chirped. Because I'd be rocking my SECU stuff. And Ohio State fans hate the SEC. So even though I wouldn't be rocking Texas stuff, they'd be like, we know you're here for Texas, and we hate the SEC. So I would probably get chirped, which would be really funny, actually. So anyways, yeah, it's to your point, Spur Your Enthusiasm. It is a different vibe when you go to games as a neutral fan, I'm SEC Unfiltered versus going as I'm rocking the opposing team color. I mean, it goes without saying, dude. Yeah, it goes without saying. And it's been a blast. Like, I've loved the fact that I could go to every game and just, dude, it's just, dare I say, man, like, sports are really fun when you just enjoy them for what they are. You know what I mean? Like, when you're able to really just sit back and be like, dude, this is just great. Take all the biases out of it. This is awesome, man. This is so much fun. It's so much fun. These stadiums are so cool. These fan bases are so awesome. These cities are so great. Like, people's biases is what ruins their experiences. I mean, really, truly. It's what ruins your experience. If you can just remove your bias from things and just appreciate things for what they are. Go into every weekend. I don't go into the weekends being like comparing each weekend to the next because they're all different. That would be unfair. That would just be unfair to each place. I go into it totally blank canvas, blank slate, and let's just have an adventure and see what happens and take it all in and take it in stride. And That's worked out pretty damn well to this point. So my guys over at Chinook, by the way, had a great time. Had a great time with my Chinook dudes. Shout out to Brandon. Incredible time on Friday. Easiest place to travel, hardest place to travel? That's a really good question. And to your point, Chinook, again, end of season, we are going to do an SEC Unfiltered Tour Superlatives show. I'm probably going to drop a graphic and do a show because it'll be really, really fun to look back on the tour. I mean, it already is right now, but like when it's complete, it'll be really sick to look back. Easiest place to travel? I mean, I'd probably say Columbia because it's just down the road. Either Columbia or Athens because they were really, really short drives for me, right at an hour and a half, hour 45 each. So, I mean, those are closest to me. So those kind of win by default. Most difficult place to travel to this point has been Fayetteville. Fayetteville's a hard place to get to. Fayetteville, Arkansas is a hard place to get to. But I drove it. 12 hours. 12 hours I drove it. The Thursday I drove to Memphis, stayed the night in an Airbnb, and then drove the rest on Friday. Sunday, I drove home. And yes, Chinook, my boys over at Chinook. Yeah, I've had seeds in the car. Yeah. Dude, I've still got a whole box of seeds sitting over to my right that you can't see. So I promise you, I'm set, but I'm always down to take more, man. Hey, listen, my seed, I'll tell you this. My guys over at Chinook, whether this is right, wrong, or indifferent, this is just me. My seed consumption probably goes up by about 500%. I'm not bullshitting. 500% when baseball season gets here. Because every time I'm watching a ball game, I'm eating seeds pretty much. Every time. So my seed consumption goes up drastically when we get to like early February. So just throwing it out there. It's just, I don't know, man. It's just, that's how I'm wired. It just is what it is. I just, when baseball comes on, the seeds go in. That's just how I'm wired. So anyways, guys, 803-500, 1485. That is 803-500, 1485. Phone lines are back open, by the way. I closed them up for just a minute. Phone lines are back open. Again, guys, I can't say thank you enough for the continued love and support, man. I apologize if earlier in the show I was a little bit Debbie Downer. Listen, I'm human, and there's just times where I get exhausted by some of the energy we receive, and I have to remind myself and have perspective. And, it's crazy. As humans, we're wired. You can get 99% positive. You can get 1,000 comments, and 999 of them can be positive and supportive and just, uplifting. But you get one negative one. That's the one that sticks out to you. And so, I mean, listen, man, I'll be totally transparent. I will. I explained it as thoroughly as I could 11 months ago. I'm not going to do it again. But what I'm going to say is this. I am happier than I've ever been. I am having more fun than I've ever had. The level of embrace that we have felt from the different SEC fan bases has been so heartwarming, and I'm so grateful for it. And I've never been happier, not just as a content creator, but an entrepreneur as well. Because, guys, I'm going to let you in on a little secret. We are reaching heights from a business perspective that would have never been possible otherwise. I've got some exciting news to share with you all upcoming. And I'll actually share it right now. And this isn't locked in for certain, but I've gotten this question a lot. Okay? I've gotten this question a lot. Chris, are you going to run back the SEC Unfiltered Tour next year? Are you going to be going to anywhere else? Going to any baseball games, basketball games? Well, what sparks that? What drives that? Advertisers. Our friends right here. Prize Picks, the official sponsors of the SEC Unfiltered Tour. Guys, right now, the deal that we are going back and forth in negotiations, and again, we are going to have a partner. I feel really confident in telling you guys there's going to be an SEC Unfiltered Tour in 2025. Spoiler. I feel really confident. But even beyond that, guys, I don't know if I should give specific numbers I'll just say this because this isn't a specific thing. The investment that we are garnering or going to garner is in the range of 5x in 2025 what we garnered in 2024. So that type of stuff wouldn't be possible had we not made the leaps and the bounds and the jumps and taken the risks that we have from the entrepreneurial perspective. You know, had we not taken the cap off of our business, had we not taken the cap off of our potential. So I am, but, you know, the point I was making before that was, you know, it's, I'm human. There's times, man, where just the comments and stuff and the feedback, some of it gets tiresome. I'll just say that. That's why, you know, I apologize for being Debbie Downer earlier. There's just at times, man, I'm just like, dude, it's just like, my God, like there's some South Carolina folks, just let me live my life, bro. Like, if you don't like me, fine, but let bygones be bygones. I don't have the energy for it anymore. I don't care anymore. I really don't, because I love the South Carolina folks that rock with us. For those that don't, man, like, we don't need you. I used to always say, all we got's all we need. Like, it's really true, bro. Like, but I'm not doing anything to impede your enjoyment of college football or South Carolina or anything in life for that matter. I'm just a guy on the internet shooting the shit, talking sports, talking some other random stuff here and there too. Like, that's why I said, man, I got no energy for it. And it's just like, when you see it over and over, you're like, God, dude, like, man, you just can't get, it just gets old. It just gets old. So, and it is what it is, man. Like I get it. Like, I'm in the position I'm in. We're in the position we're in. I totally get it. It comes with the territory, but I apologize if I came into this show low vibe. That's on me. I'll hold that L. I apologize. But, man, when you really think about what is important, which is the people that rock with us, the people that support us, the people that have our back, bro, it makes it that much more special, man. I can't say thank you enough, man. And again, I may be making a mountain over a molehill because nothing happened. Everything's Gucci on our end. Everything is great. I'm extremely blessed. I feel like I came in today a little bit low vibe, though, and I apologize for that. I do. I apologize. That's not me. That's not my MO. But I appreciate y'all rocking along, being part of the show, man. Like I said, man, I'm as fired up as I've ever been. Like, I'm as happy a human as I've ever been. Dude, I've even got people. I had a guy, funny enough. And I'll leave it with this. I'll leave you with this. I had a guy at the tailgate this past weekend who's followed me for a long time, Georgia fan, that literally told me, heck, I mean, I've had multiple people. They're like, we can see it on your face. You seem lighter. You seem, you know, because shit got really, really heavy at times. You know what I mean? Right, wrong, or indifferent, it did. So I'm happy. I couldn't be happier to be where I'm at, to be where I'm going, and chasing my dreams and fulfilling my potential and living out my dharma. It's a blessing, man. I'm really grateful for it. I'm grateful for, you know, having the gall and the stones and the wherewithal to take those chances and those risks. And the bigger risk would have been staying complacent. And that's just the reality of it. So anyways, man, I can't say thank you all enough to all the folks in Athens, man. I got so much love for the folks in Athens, all the great Georgia fans. Wrapped their arms around us, supported us, showed us love. That was incredible. The weekend in Athens was awesome. And, man, Austin, Texas this weekend. Austin, Texas. The 40 acres. The 40 acres. Hook 'em. Let me get out ahead of it early. Hook 'em. Can't wait to see Hook 'em in the 40 acres this weekend, man. It's going to be electric. Austin, Texas, Lone Star State. I'll be heading in town Thursday. I'm coming out a day early to get the full Austin experience. So, any Texas folks out there, shoot us an email, shoot us a DM, whatever, shoot us a text on the text line, 803-500-1485. You got any suggestions, any must-dos for Austin? My first ever time, let me know, man. I would appreciate it. And either way, man, it's going to be one hell of an adventure. The joy is in the journey. Can't say thank you all enough, man. Appreciate y'all tuning in. Again, make sure you like, subscribe, turn notifications. Check us out via podcast, or you get those all across social media platforms as well. You can find us, and of course, our website, SECUnfiltered.com. And check out our friends at Prize Picks, official partners of the SEC Unfiltered Tour. Use that promo code SECU at sign up to get that $50 bonus on your first $5 or more lineup. You don't even have to win. Just play. They give you $50. Seems like a pretty good deal to me. Guys, appreciate you all. thank you all so much. We'll do this again next week. Y'all are the very best. Cannot say thank you enough. Have a great rest of your Monday. We'll talk to you all on the other side.